Breaking news out of Brazoria County. A small plane crashed at the Pearland Regional Airport. KHU 11 News reporter Leigh Frillici is there live. Leigh?
Well, Courtney, you see the flashing lights behind me. That's actually not where the plane crashed. We're told it crashed further down behind those trees. You actually can't see the crash site. We're also told that the pilot was taking off when it appears that he lost power to his engine, started to come back, bank back around, clip some trees, and then when he landed, he hit a creek bank. The crash brought a lot of emergency vehicles to the scene. There were many more just about an hour ago when we first arrived here. We're told that there was only one person in the plane. It was a 55-year-old man. He was the pilot. He suffered head injuries, but he was conscious when emergency crews got there. He was airlifted out and taken to a nearby hospital. We're told right now that authorities are waiting for the FAA to come here and look at just what happened, but their best guess right now is that this pilot might have suffered from power failure with his plane. That small plane came down right over here, crashed, and he is conscious. They've taken him to the hospital, and he's expected to survive. We are live at the Pearland Regional Airport. Leigh Frillici, KHOU 11 News.
That's right, Vicente. In fact, she's telling us that this is just not true at all. HISD also tells us there are no charges against this teen. The teen says she did not threaten the girl with mace or a gun. She says it started out as a small misunderstanding, escalated into words, and then the other girl's mother brought a gun clip to school.
At the Charles home, they just celebrated Grandma's birthday last weekend, but this week no one's been in the mood to celebrate. Not Letitia Charles.
I'm really upset about the whole situation. Really, I am. I'm upset with the school, I'm upset with the parent, and I'm upset with the little girl.
Nor her 13-year-old daughter. Her daughter says a misunderstanding with her friend at Marshall Middle School has been blown out of proportion.
She was throwing eraser pieces at me, and I was throwing them back, and I thought we were playing because we were friends.
By the end of the school day, the girls had words. Just what was said depends on who you ask. The other 7th grader spoke with KHOU 11 News on Friday and said she was threatened.
They got shotguns and they should spray me in my face now with the mace.
This 13-year-old says that's not true.
There was just one girl, and she made it seem like it was a group of girls banging her head against the wall with mace and threatening her about a shotgun. And no one ever did that.
But Lori Cotton Noel thinks her daughter was bullied.
Wrong is wrong.
Cotton Noel admits when she tried to talk to the assistant principal about it, she pulled out a gun clip when she felt she wasn't getting anywhere.
I told her when they made one gun, they didn't stop. I took my clip out of my purse. I did not show a gun, but I did show her a clip. And I did not threaten her.
HISD has called it a confrontation, and Letitia Charles calls it dangerous. She's now worried for her own daughter's safety and says HISD didn't tell her what happened.
The only thing the school told me was I have to start picking my daughter up from the front office. They didn't tell me that this lady had came to the school and brandished a gun clip or anything. And I felt like they put me and my daughter's life in jeopardy.
Letitia Charles wants to pull her daughter out of the school. Her daughter says she would like the two families to meet up and smooth this all out. As for the Cotton Noel family, they are standing by their story, saying their daughter was threatened, and this was a mother who felt she needed to protect her daughter. Now, Vicente, HISD is also telling us that it plans to charge Cotton Noel with a felony.
Greg, the parents were devastated when they received this news. We really spent the day working the phones, getting a handle on what was happening in this situation. We did learn Texas law does allow hospitals to form a panel and decide if a patient should be coming off of life support or not. This family did not agree with the hospital's decision, and tonight we have the story of their battle, and just moments ago we learned of the change in the outcome.
In this busy medical center, life revolves around time. Time for appointments, time for rounds, time for procedures. And for one 14-year-old boy here named Jordan, time is running out.
Jordan has both a terminal and irreversible condition.
Rosalind Allen reads a letter she and her husband received last week from Texas Children's Hospital. It explains that a bioethicist panel has considered her son's case and decided life-sustaining treatment should be discontinued. So Jordan's life support will be removed there by Sunday if their son isn't transferred to another facility.
Our position for Jordan It's a doctor that has condemned him.
Before last year, Jordan appeared to be a healthy child who loved sports. Then he started getting headaches and was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. Just last month, he went into cardiac arrest, slipped into a coma, and was put on a ventilator. Still, his parents believe he's showing progress.
He's moving his head, and he's just looking around.
That letter from the hospital also reads, Texas Children's must make a reasonable effort to transfer Jordan to another facility that will take him. The hospital says it would do that, and his parents say they found one, but the family says insurance won't pay for his treatment there, based on Texas Children's evaluation of his condition.
When the insurance company asked to speak to the doctor, he condemned Jordan again.
Now the Allens wish they could turn back the clock.
We would have never came to Texas Children had I known that they had the bioethics committee.
Because the Allens want as much time as they can get with their son.
Until God says it's time for Jordan to die, we're not accepting nothing else.
So just a short while ago, we learned that the Allens' efforts have paid off. Their insurance company has changed what they said they were going to do. They are now going to pay for the treatment at this other facility. We do have a statement from Texas Children's. They told us this is a challenging and emotional time for the patient and his family and the doctors and staff of Texas Children's Hospital. Our collective hearts go out to our patient and his family as they strive to determine what is best for their family. And again, the Allens wanted their son moved, and now insurance says they will pay for it. So Jordan will stay on life support. We are live in the Texas Medical Center. Leigh Frillici, KHOU 11 News.
Open the door to Zach Jones's room.
This is his football jersey.
And it's the room of a typical 16-year-old.
He was learning how to play this on his own.
What's not so typical?
Of course, that calendar, I still have it on April of 2006.
Is how Zach died.
I guess the bat just picked this window out of all the other windows in the neighborhood. It's tough.
The room looks just as it did that day 4 years ago when Zach laid down for a nap.
He didn't have a bite. We know that the bat woke him up. It was fluttering in his face. That's what he said.
Zach and his parents didn't realize he could have contracted rabies, so they missed the short window to get Zach treated. Weeks later,
he said, "Mom, there's something really wrong with me." And he said, "It's my mind. I don't know." He said, "I can't sleep." He said, "And I'm having like these little seizures."
The Joneses say Zach's condition puzzled doctors too.
At first, they didn't realize Zach had rabies. And second, I think the rabies had pretty much taken over Zach at that point in time. He had a very, very small chance of survival.
1 week after he noticed his first symptoms, rabies killed Zach Jones. Now rabies is one of the main targets of new research at Texas A&M, funded by a branch of the Department of Defense.
What we'd like to find out is how rabies really enters the cell and hijacks your cell and takes over your nervous system.
What interests the DoD is not so much what A&M is going to test in machines like these, it's how the test plays out on cell samples exposed to a virus, a toxin, and a bacteria. Because if attacks on our troops or the public changes from conventional warfare to bioterrorism, the government wants to treat Americans quickly. What makes A&M uniquely poised for this research is what's stored in this unusually cold library. It's a library of thousands of stem cells from mice that Aggie researchers can test.
We screen thousands and thousands of cell lines, each missing a gene. We can determine which genes, which part of your genes that the virus hijacks to hurt you. And once we know that, then that gene becomes a target for new drugs that we can develop very rapidly to keep the virus from hurting you.
We're going after what's in your body that makes you more sensitive or resistant to that bacterial infection.
Their findings could help fight bioterrorism and much more.
Now we're immediately ready should any new emerging infectious disease come on board, be of interest like SARS or H1N1 that nobody knows anything about.
One of the most immediate outcomes of A&M's research could be a cure for rabies.
Lots of good memories.
It would mean other parents wouldn't have to lay their hearts out on a page.
We love you, Zach.
Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad.
Of a yearbook their child would never see.
This is something that we've been praying for and hoping for.
What the Joneses never expected is that a DoD project on bioterror might also wipe out the very thing that took their son.
If that's what it takes to get rid of rabies, it's fine with me. It's fine with me.
Leigh Frillici, 11 News.